Okay, so picture this. Your car breaks down. The mechanic says it's gonna be $800 to fix. And in that moment you feel this pit in your stomach because you know that $800 is going to go on the credit card. But here's the thing. If you had just $5,000 sitting in a savings account, that entire situation would feel completely different. My name is Liam, and I spend way too much time thinking about emergency funds and why most people are building them all wrong. If you're someone who feels like you're stuck in this constant cycle of one step forward, two steps back with your money, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Look, I know emergency funds sound boring. It's not sexy. It's not Bitcoin. It's not real estate. It's literally just cash sitting there. But what most people don't realize is that your first $5,000 in emergency savings doesn't just give you $5,000. It unlocks 7 specific opportunities that completely change your financial trajectory. Here's what most people don't realize. When you don't have an emergency fund, you're constantly paying what I call the stupid tax. According to a 2023 Federal Reserve report, 37% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing money or selling something. So when that car breaks down, when the water heater explodes, when your kid needs an emergency dentist appointment, you're putting it on a credit card. Now, here's the math that should make you angry. Let's say you put that $800 car repair on a credit card with an 18% APR. That's a 25% stupid tax on an expense you had no choice but to pay. The average American household with credit card debt is carrying $6,501 in balances, and they're paying somewhere between $1,100 to $1,380 in interest every single year. When you have that $5,000 emergency fund, you pay $800 for the car repair, and then you rebuild your emergency fund over the next few months. No interest. No stupid tax. You just saved yourself potentially hundreds or thousands of dollars over time. This is where it gets really interesting. When you have cash, you have power. Let's say you need dental work done. It's gonna cost $2,000. But here's the thing. If you walk into that dentist's office and say, "Hey, if I pay the full amount in cash today, can you give me a discount?" You'd be shocked how often they'll say yes. Medical providers, dentists, even contractors, they hate payment plans. Cash up front? That's gold to them. On a $2,000 bill, that's $200 to $400 saved. Just like that. But you can't play this card if you don't have the cash. Cash gives you leverage. When you don't have an emergency fund, every single financial decision you make is defensive. You're constantly bracing for impact. Here's what most people don't realize. Living in constant financial stress reduces cognitive function by the equivalent of 13 IQ points. When you're always stressed about money, you make worse decisions. That $5,000 emergency fund? It's your ticket out of defense mode. Suddenly, you can think strategically. You can take calculated risks. Now, you might be thinking, wait, Liam, shouldn't I be investing instead of just letting money sit in a savings account earning basically nothing? But here's the thing, you can't build wealth if you keep getting knocked back to zero. Think of your emergency fund like the foundation of a house. Nobody walks into a house and goes, "Wow, check out that foundation." But without it, the whole thing collapses. According to Vanguard's 2023 report, the average investor who experiences a financial emergency without savings ends up selling their investments at the worst possible time. But when you have that $5,000 buffer, you can invest your extra money and actually leave it invested. Let me give you some math. If you invest $500 a month starting at age 30 with an average 8% return, you'll have about $1.4 million by age 65. But if you have to stop and restart that investment journey even twice due to emergencies, you could end up with $800,000 or less. That's a $600,000 difference. When you have an emergency fund, you can choose high-deductible insurance plans that have way lower monthly premiums. Over a decade, we're talking about potentially saving $20,000 or more just by being able to choose the financially smarter insurance options. When you have $5,000 in the bank, you have the power to walk away from situations that are toxic, exploitative, or just bad for you. Hate your job? Got a terrible boss who's making your life miserable? With an emergency fund, you can quit and give yourself a few months to find something better. Having options? Having the ability to say no to things that aren't serving you? That's priceless. Saving your first $5,000 doesn't just give you $5,000. It gives you proof that you can do it. People who successfully build an emergency fund are 3.2 times more likely to stick with other financial goals. It's like going to the gym. The first month is brutal. But once you start seeing results, suddenly it's easier to keep going. Same thing with money. That first $5,000 transforms your financial identity. Now you might be thinking, okay Liam, this all sounds great, but I can barely make ends meet. How am I supposed to save $5,000? And look, I hear you. I'm not gonna stand here and pretend it's easy. But here's the thing, it's not about saving $5,000 in a month. It's about saving $5,000 eventually. If you save $100 a month, you'll have $5,000 in 50 months. That's just over 4 years. If you can push it to $200 a month, you'll have it in just over 2 years. Is that longer than you'd like? Probably. But here's the alternative. You do nothing, and in 8 years you're still in the exact same position. So here's what you need to do. Start with $1,000. That's your mini emergency fund. Then, focus on getting to $5,000. Cut one unnecessary subscription. Sell stuff you don't use. Pick up a side gig for a few months. Open a separate high-yield savings account specifically for this money. Don't keep it in your checking account where you'll be tempted to spend it. Look, I know this isn't the most exciting financial advice. I know you'd rather hear about how to make $1 million in crypto or how to retire at 35. But here's the reality. Every wealthy person I've ever studied, every financially successful person I know, started with the boring stuff. They built their foundation first. Your first $5,000 emergency fund unlocks 7 hidden opportunities that will completely change your financial life. So start today. Even if it's just $20. Even if it feels impossibly slow. Because 5 years from now, you're gonna wish you started today. If this video helped you out, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment letting me know where you're at in your emergency fund journey. I'll see you in the next one.